Hello everybody, my name is Richard, that's Tom, this is Terrifying Tom, and this week we are discussing the 2023 film, The Exorcist. Believer. Spoilers, obviously. First off the bat, this film is out at the cinema right now.
Yeah, so as we're recording it.
If you have not seen this film yet, then and you don't want spoilers, then
yeah.
Move along. I mean, there's spoilers for pretty much every single episode we do. It just happens to be that most films are like nearly 10 years old now.
Yeah, but obviously for this one, we prefer you check out the film first.
Yeah.
If you so please. If you're not particularly bothered about that, then that's fine.
Go ahead.
We'll just talk about it anyway.
Also, because this film is currently out of the cinemas, there might not be as many clips in this episode, obviously. Just giving you a little bit of a heads up on that as well. Just, copyright and all that stuff. So, yeah, anyway. The Exorcist Believer. When two girls disappear into the woods and return 3 days later with no memory of what happened to them, the father will go on a mission to find a certain author.
The father of which girl?
The black girl. I can't remember the names.
Ange.
Is it Ange? Yeah. I'm really bad with names.
I can't remember the little girl's name with the other family. But I remember
Caroline?
Angela is the...
Christine?
I don't know. But Angela is the name of the main girl in this film.
It begins with a C. I know it begins with a C. But anyway, yeah, the father of Ange Postecoglou.
Made that reference before I could. Thank you very much for stealing that.
Sorry.
Damn, that was all I was thinking about during that film.
You shouldn't have told me what the name was.
They were cashing in on...
You shouldn't have told me what the name was.
They were cashing in on Tottenham's being top of the Premier League as we report this.
Successes. That's
the only reason they named it Angela.
In their minds, yeah. The father of Ange will go on a mission to find a mother, an author, who has experienced these things before.
Who's that, I wonder?
Don't know. It stars... Based on the IMDb page, by the way, this is not my decision-making. This is the IMDb page. It stars Linda Blair, Ellen Burstyn, and Jennifer Nettles. Two of which are in it for probably less than 10 minutes.
I was going to say, you're the main name that you said at the start there is in it for like seconds.
But apparently she's top billing. Boom!
She's the one everyone knows.
Right.
Even ahead of a mother in the film who's in the film for a significant portion of it.
And it is directed by David Gordon Green. First, before we continue, Tom, how are you, sir?
Oh, good. Thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I realised that when we recorded the last episode, I did it wrong. Usually I do the little blurb and then ask you how you are.
Oh, right, but I'm sure these people don't care about how I am. They want to know about the film, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, like I said, you're the titular character of this show, so,
I am, it's all about me.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's your world and we're just living in it.
Yeah, if only.
So, what can you tell me about your history with, well, not this film, because obviously the first time you saw it was with me the other night, but The Exorcist in general. Obviously, this is a sequel to the 1970s film, The Exorcist.
This is the 50th anniversary of The Exorcist, the original, which I only realised today while doing a little bit of research. So the 50th anniversary, obviously they want to cash in on that, which is understandable. Can you believe it's been 50 years since this film came out? The Exorcist, the
it's
original.
Scary to think that, 50 years ago to me is the 1940s.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
But it's not.
No,
it's the 70s.
It's the 70s, yeah. Soon it'll be the 80s, but let's not dwell on that right now.
That's scary.
The Exorcist was, for a lot of people, it was one of those films that was touted as like the scariest movie ever made.
Yeah.
And people have been fainting and being sick watching this movie. Have you seen The Exorcist? You've got to see this movie. It's completely, utterly scary. But you can't see it in the UK because it's banned. But I've got a copy of it if you want it. You know, that kind of shit.
It's in Korean, but...
yeah, that and A Clockwork Orange were always the two that I think were always like, you've got to see these movies that are like, well, too extreme, but there's no way to watch them.
Clockwork Orange is so boring.
I disagree. But yeah, I enjoyed the film, but if you remember the fact that it was nominated for Oscars, as I mentioned earlier, it was nominated for Best Film, I think, as well. So this is kind of like a drama in a lot of ways. The original Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, I want to say, boring passages in there.
I'd say world building, but yeah, sure.
A lot of religious talk. I mean, the film's about exorcisms, isn't it? It's about the fight between good and evil. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of religious chat. But if you're going into this film and expecting, something like a Scream or a Saw or something like that.
You're talking about The Exorcist
the original,
or the new one?
The original.
The original,
If you're going to watching that for the first time expecting something like that,
yeah, no.
Friday the 13th, and it's not...
It's
not in the same ballpark.
It has visual aspects to it, but it's more about the psychological torture amongst the cast, really, more than anything, isn't it? I mean, there are obviously famous visual things that, you know, are like, oh my god, if that ever happened, you would freak out. But it's supposed to be more about like the battle and the psychology, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, it's one of those films that definitely lives on its reputation, wasn't it? I think it's one of the biggest movies of all time in terms of box office. Must be up there.
What, adjusted for inflation?
Yeah,
maybe.
Definitely.
I'd have to check, but
I'll be honest though. Exorcism films, I kind of think are a bit played out and boring. If I'm being honest, I don't think there's a lot to them. Yeah.
But having said that, let's talk about Exorcist believers, shall we?
If you like.
Oh, I think we should. So, film opens in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, with a lovely African-American woman going around. Actually, no, it didn't. It started with dogs barking and fighting each other,
It started
didn't
with
it?
dogs, yeah.
Yeah. And it was the guy, the husband, was actually taking photos of these dogs fighting. Yeah, sorry.
Right, yeah.
That's how it opened. Yeah. Dogs barking. And then it's the wife, the mother, who's mother to be, going around like the stalls of Haiti, you know, like asking how much for things, buying things, you know, typical touristy stuff. Kids comes up to her and says, "I'm gonna show you something really special. It's a special blessing for the baby and stuff." And so she goes to see this, I guess, voodoo medicine doctor.
Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, who performs a blessing on her and the baby. And I must admit, this is where I thought, well, that's what it is then, isn't it? That's what's the baby's possessed because of.
That's like, kind of what I thought as well. Like, it was for nefarious means rather than an actual blessing from God or something like that. But you think differently, no?
Now I do.
Okay.
I don't think
so.
That...
I don't have a definitive answer as to why this happened in the first place.
I don't actually think it had any bearing on the film whatsoever. You probably could have cut the whole section out and it wouldn't have made any difference whatsoever. But I thought that's going to be the opening. Oh, they're going for the voodoo angle. Oh, you did pagan evil stuff.
Yeah.
However, this film is quite happy to say, no, voodoo's legit. Voodoo's cool. Voodoo's fine. And yeah, God loves it, you know. And it's like, okay, interesting. I mean, I guess in the world that we live in today, it kind of makes sense. But it was surprising because most people think voodoo and people think evil, don't they? You think voodoo, you think voodoo dolls, voodoo curse, zombies, you know, that's what people think. But that's not what voodoo is. And this film actually did the more... This is actually what voodoo's like, you know. It's just an Afro-Caribbeanized version of Christianity, basically, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, nothing happens with this voodoo. It's fine. It's all good. She goes back to her husband, who's taking photos on the beach, and you know, they have a little discussion, and she says that the ceremony was beautiful. She really felt special because of it. And then they wander around, do some more touristy stuff. They go to a church, and the wife's pregnant, so, you know, pregnant lady problems, you know, her feet start to hurt, she's getting tired, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Pregnant lady, pregnancy is tough. I totally get it. So she goes back to the hotel, he carries on walking around town, taking photos and everything like that. And then, just as she is getting into bed, there is an earthquake. An earthquake in Haiti. I debated, I didn't know whether this was supposed to be the Haiti earthquake, but then I remembered, I think that was in the 2010s, right?
Fairly recently, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So this is obviously just supposed to be
just a random
earthquake in Haiti, yeah.
They never mentioned it as an event, right? So.
No. So she starts to try to make her escape out of the building, whilst the building is, you know, shaking and falling down, basically. And cut back to the husband trying to run back to the hotel, and then an outside shot of the building basically collapsing and crushing. He runs inside to try and help her, and then she falls down the stairs as the building collapses,
yep. And
then the stairs fall on top of her. He gets to her just in time. She gives him a message: take care of the baby. You know, take care of her, actually, I think she says, doesn't she?
Okay.
So, yeah. Or protect her, something like that. But, yeah, so she's in the process of dying. Sorry, yes, because we cut to the hospital.
Yeah.
And he is given the choice: save the baby, save the mum.
Yeah.
We don't get told. What he chooses.
No.
But, cut to 13 years later, I think it said, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And we see Ange Postecoglou rummaging through this poor black man stuff, and he's like, "Dude, get out of there! What are you doing? You got a match at the weekend. Come on, man." But yeah, no, it's his daughter. It's his daughter is alive and rummaging through a box. Like, we see pictures of his mum, her mum, and stuff like that. And she takes a scarf, and as the scene unfolds, it becomes clear the mum passed away.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Him and the daughter, but you don't know that he chose the baby. We don't
know. Well, we're meant to assume that he chose Angela. Yeah. He chose the baby. That's what we're meant to assume from this.
Normal family shit ensues. Breakfast. You got school. Can I go somewhere after school to do my homework? No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to come home. No, please, come on. I love you. Where'd you get this scarf and shit? Like, you know,
typical teenage
dramas.
Yeah,
That's it. So basically, he says, "Fine, you can go round to what's her face's house after school. It's fine, whatever." And then they get in the cars and go on with their day. He drops her off at school, and then he takes the scarf off of her. Before they get in the car, he takes the scarf off of her. So
yeah.
He's like, "Where'd you get this?" And she's like, "I bought it." And he's like,
and he's not very happy about it.
Yeah, because he's like, "Going through my shit, you bitch." But yeah.
He does apologise to her, though.
Later on.
Like, when she gets out of the car.
Does he?
Yeah. Before she gets out of the car.
I have to take your word for that. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
This is the problem with this format of this podcast, is me trying to remember.
Yeah, he does apologise to her.
I've got a terrible memory. I don't know why we do it in this format. It's awful. It's awful decision making, because I've got an awful memory. But anyway, yeah, she meets up with her friend after school. They've made a plan to tell their parents that they're going round to some other girl's house to do homework. But really, these two girls are they're not skiving off because it's the end of school. They're
disobeying their parents.
Yeah. Rebellious.
Yeah, that's it. Rebellious teenagers.
Wander off into the woods together. And, you know, just... You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what they're doing. They find this... looks like a cellar? Basement? Of like a collapsed house or
yeah,
something?
something
I don't
like
know.
that. Yeah, and they go down into there, and we don't see them for a while.
Yeah. And then we cut back to the dad, who's like his job. He's a photographer, professional photographer. He's taking photos, family portraits, all the stuff that we did in the 80s and 90s, basically. So my parents have got one hanging up in their living room downstairs, So. I'm assuming your family did this as well, right?
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It's not just. It's all family. It's just
family bullshit. Yeah.
I don't know. Is it a white person thing? Do black people do this? Do Asian people do this? Let me know.
Probably.
Get in touch and let us know. But yeah, white people, white families, just family portraits.
Yeah, there's one rather bratty kid in this scene, isn't there? It's like putting up a fuss.
He's bored.
Yeah,
it's boring.
Yeah. I totally get it. As a kid, you don't want to do this shit.
Here's this squeaky toy. I'm not a dog. Unless it's a transformer, I don't care. You know? So, he's bored.
Just a child, yeah. Child being a child.
Basically, and he's trying to find the best shot, basically, later on at night.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then, he heads home. No, wait, before he heads home, we cut back to the girls, don't we?
Is this, I was going to say, is this a scene where his laptop goes faulty?
That's when it cuts between the two, doesn't it? Yeah. So it cuts back to the kids, and they're trying to do like a seance, basically.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do like a seance, and Postacoglu's trying to talk to his mum. And like the other girl, Christine, something like that, I don't know. She's basically talking her through it, I'll just close your eyes, empty your mind, and just say what you hear, what she's telling you, basically. So she's trying to get in touch with her mum, basically. And then what is it, like an earthquake or something like that, or like a ground shudder or something happens, and then we cut back to the dad, who's then going through the photos, and then that's when his laptop goes funny, like the people's faces just get like skewed, like the Ring, the effect in the Ring,
kind of like that, yeah.
Like once you've been marked, it's like your face is weird on TV and cameras and things like that afterwards, and photos and stuff. So that effect, basically. Then he goes home. And he goes home and realises that his daughter's not home yet, and he told her specifically be home for dinner. So he's like,
it's the bins, isn't it? Because the next door neighbour
complains
that they didn't bring their bins back in.
Yeah, and
he gets home and the bins are still out. And he specifically told her to bring the bins back to the house. Mm-hmm. And obviously, we find out later on the neighbour is another important part of this film.
Yeah,
as we go on.
Yeah. Both the neighbours are. The other neighbour is as well. Like the male neighbour who he goes to the gym with. We didn't talk about that. He goes to a boxing gym. It's not that important. Basically, it just introduces another character who, again, isn't that important. I mean, he's at the exorcism later, but he's not really that important. I mean,
it's just nice to see neighbours being neighbours.
In
this film.
Very neighbourly.
Yeah.
So, and then he's obviously, he gets on the phone trying to ring this other girl's mum, saying, hey, she said she was coming around to your house to do, and then the mum's like, no, she told me that they were going to blah, blah, blah's house to do it, and it turns into a whole thing. And
typical stuff you get with teenagers here, isn't it?
Parents meet up and they're all worried and stuff like that, and then they're like, where did she say she was going? And they get hold of this other girl that they said to cover for them. And she's like, I don't know. They just walked off into the woods. So we cut to the woods. Parents walking through the woods with the torches, trying to find the girls. Kind of split off in different directions, and the dad, the main character of the film, I can't remember his name. Sorry. He reminded me of Derice from Cool Runnings.
Okay.
So his name's going to be Derice now, okay?
Derice, okay.
Is it Derice?
I don't know, mate. I haven't seen Cool Runnings
Sanka Junior. I'm pretty sure it's Derice. Yeah, and the other guy's Yul Brenner is the other guy, yeah. So it's Derice, yeah. Sankar, Junior, Yul, and Derice. Yeah, it's Derice from Cool Runnings. That's who it is, alright? I don't care what anyone says now, it is Derice from Cool Runnings.
Okay.
So Derice goes off and he's like, shouting, Sankar, you're dead! Sankar! And then he goes down into the basement thing. It's like a gully, like a concrete gully in the middle of the woods. So that's why I'm assuming it's like a collapsed house basement or something like that, because I don't know what else it's doing there otherwise. But yeah, so he goes down in there and he starts like walking into the dark and sees this little like pearl necklace behind a rock.
Yep.
And he's like slowly going towards it. Because that's how people pick things up. You slowly move your hand towards it. You never go faster than this, because no one just goes, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And he moves the rock. And
you know exactly you're going to get a jump scare here, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'd looked away at this point.
Jump scare. Jump scare. Underneath this rock's a snake.
Yep.
It's a snake underneath the rock. But because he jumps back and freaks out, he finds a shoe. One of the girl's shoes. And then we know something serious is happening. Then we cut to the police station, and the Sarge detective is talking through the CCTV footage of like when there was the last time we saw them.
Yeah.
And then the parents getting into an argument, basically saying like,
yeah, that's Derice's fault though, isn't it?
Why is it Derice?
Because he's like, how much do I know about your child or whatever like that? There was no need for it, to be honest. But it's just like,
insert drama.
Frustration. I get it, it's kind of, but like, don't start blaming the other parents at this point, really.
Yeah, basically, he's like, I don't know your daughter. I don't know. Me and my daughter are close.
Yeah,
and the other parents are like,
what are you talking about? And then I can't remember the woman. There's a woman in the hospital goes like, "Oh, we need to stick together. Like, this is obvious that you need to stick together. You're both at the same goal at this point. But your daughter's
that's the
missing.
Sergeant, isn't it? That was at the police. That was at the police station. Okay, that was in this scene, wasn't it? We all have the same goal here.
Pretty much. So.
Yeah. Basically turns into a big hoopla, like they're putting up, the girl's gone missing, they're putting up signs that's on the news, the church is having like a vigil, like bring back Christine, Catherine, Carly, whatever her name is. Yeah, all the C names. Bring her back, because she's a member of this, her family's a member of this church, and she's like a member of the church as well. Obviously, that comes in later. We randomly cut to no. Derice comes back home first, and boxing neighbor is in there with the voodoo woman.
Yeah, that whole stuff is a bit weird. Like, basically trespassing in their house.
Yeah, basically broke into their house to do like a voodoo blessing to try and bring her back home. And then Derice is like, the fuck you doing in my house? You and your bullshit, get the fuck out, And it's like, well, I mean, I get it, like.
So have they basically figured at this point that there's bad spirits at play here?
No, he's just, he says later on, after he sees Voodoo Woman out, he comes back in and he says, look, I'm just trying to help. When my wife, I think, was diagnosed with cancer,
right.
We did all the medical stuff and we prayed and everything like that, but it wasn't until we went outside of our belief system that she really actually started to feel better, and like, I know that you think I'm crazy, but we're just trying to help.
Yeah, but there are other ways to go about it than trespassing into somebody's house.
Maybe ask them first.
Yeah.
Like,
so if you're planning on blessing somebody's house, maybe give them a knock on the door first. Give them a ring on the phone.
Just break into their house.
Break into their house.
When they're not there and just do it, But, so then that happens. And then he's like, she doesn't have a raincoat because it looks outside and it's raining. And when we cut to a random farmer in a field, like a cow has fallen over. I don't know. But they're basically trying to perform veterinary stuff on this cow, and the farmer's like, go get the kid, it's in the shed, mate, it's in the barn.
Now you've mentioned this cow, I imagine something has happened to this cow.
I'm assuming
it's had like a heart attack or something. Because as we know, we know from the animals start making a load of noise later on, is that animals always know before the humans. They always know.
Yeah, I figured that while we were watching the film. I thought something happened to the animal, like, you know, like it's been not possessed, but you know, like taken over by something, or something bad has happened here, and this cow is randomly just, you know, like because of evil.
Yeah.
And he runs. The boy runs into the barn to go and get
all the animals are making noise.
All the animals are freaking out.
They're probably distressed.
Yeah. And then he goes to the shed to the back to try and get this kit, and he hears a noise behind him, and he's like, and he opens the door slowly, you know, because everyone does everything slowly.
Yeah. For dramatic effect.
And then the two girls are sitting in there.
Yeah.
You know, no shoes, dishevelled. No, they're like, where are we? And he's like, Dad! I like that reaction. Dad! Because you would freak out, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You would, yeah.
Yeah, so the girls have been returned, and we follow Doris as he's rushing to the hospital because he's heard.
Yeah.
And the two girls are there at the hospital having all these checks and psychological exams and medical exams, and obviously nasty people exams.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a parent, your first thought would be they've been kidnapped and abused, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people would think that, right? You know, like...
Yeah.
Hey, you found her? What are you and Catherine doing out there in those woods?
We were just walking and walking. That's all I remember.
Angela, can you tell your dad how long you were gone?
A few hours.
Baby, you've been gone 3 days.
But, so we find out it's been 3 days, but the girls think it's been, like, a couple of hours.
Yeah. They don't realise
they're missing time. They think that they, you know, got lost in the woods, and they were trying to find their way out, and then they just kept walking until they reached this farm.
Yeah, wasn't the farm like 30 miles away from...
Yeah. Turns out that there's nothing physically or psychologically wrong with them. They think they just put it down to stress, and they say the brain can do weird things when we're in a scared state, which it actually can. That is very true. You know, your brain can do some weird shit, man. I mean, I would think that as well. I'd be like, okay, well, they've obviously gone through some trauma and they're, you know, blocking it out. And
did you want to explain this now you brought this up?
Not really. No, I don't want to talk about it particularly.
No, I get it. But
you
mentioned it.
I'm just saying that I am aware that your brain can do some weird shit. You can do this yourself. There's the gorilla video online, you know, where, like, you know, the whole how many times do they pass the basketball, and then in the middle of it, a guy in a monkey suit walks through, and like,
right, yeah.
I
got you, yeah.
Yeah, because your brain goes, well, that's clearly not supposed to be there. So, and you know, vice versa, your brain can put things in that aren't actually there, you know, because it thinks, well, there's clearly something there. But yeah. Anyway, they start acting a little bit odd in the hospital, like staring at each other across the corridor.
Yeah.
Like creepy kids. Kids are always so fucking creepy. And then, like, the neighbour, who we find out is a nurse at this hospital.
Yeah.
Is, talking to Postecoglou, saying, you know, you did really well against Arsenal and Liverpool, but maybe, you know, just might want to start thinking about, you know, like, being a little bit more solid defensively, maybe, because you're going to get found out by some of the better teams, you know.
So check out Sacked in the Morning podcast.
And then, you know, there's a baby crying in the hallway, and he gets up, starts walking towards the window, and then she's just talking in the background. You know, fucking Tottenham used to be a team about entertainment, and you brought that back here. And she bangs on the window, you know, like, cracks the window as well.
Yeah, cracks the window, yeah. But immediately the baby stops
The baby
crying.
just stop instantly.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Can I go home now?" And they go home. And you can tell that something's not right. But again, I would ask you, Tom, at this point, would you still just put this down to trauma?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're comfortable putting this down to trauma?
I mean, there's no like signs of exorcism at this point, is there?
Possession.
Possession. There's no signs of that at this point.
I can confirm there are no signs of exorcism at this point, no.
Or possession.
But yeah, so I'm going to, this is a common thing I ask you. When do you go, hang on a fucking minute, I'm not living in this house? So yeah, at this point you're still comfortable to call it trauma,
there's
yeah?
a massive thing that happens later on where you're like, right, at this point, they need to go to some sort of mental asylum, and they don't. But we'll talk about that a bit later on.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, they take their children home, and we obviously follow Doris and Postacoglu because they're our main characters basically. So we follow them home. I think they're just like having general conversation. I mean, she's not very talkative, obviously, but he's just like trying to tell her, everything's all right. Can you remember anything?
Yeah, she's clearly not herself.
Yeah, she's just like, no one's there.
Yeah,
And he's like, okay, well, let's get you to bed. And he puts her to bed, and then he's brushing his teeth, and the lights just start flicking on and off.
That's right, yeah.
And then he looks, and she's got up, and she's standing there turning the light on and off. So, you're supposed to think something weird is going on here, but no, it's actually her, just,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not weird yet. That's about to happen. He puts her back to bed. He's like, come on, he puts her back to bed, and he goes and he turns the light on and off, and he's like, okay, all right. And then he goes back to brushing his teeth, and the light goes off again, and it comes back on, and she's instantly standing next to him, and she's like, "What did you say?"
Yeah.
And he's like,
What did you say?
I didn't say nothing.
Thought I heard you say something.
he's not freaked out. If that was me, I would have shit my pants.
Yeah, he wasn't as freaked out as you would think
He was perfectly calm.
Yeah.
I would have shit my pants. And I can contest to that because people can make me jump so easily. Like, I can know you're there and you still can make me jump. So if that fucking happened, I would have shat my fucking pants. I would have been like, oh, fucking. But yeah, he's just like, oh, what'd you say?
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
He's
calm,
like, what are you saying? And she's like, I heard you say something. And he's like, I didn't say no. So you know about it. And puts her back to bed again, and then we move on to the next morning. He's up early, making her breakfast, and then he's like, man, if you ain't even getting up for rock and roll, what the hell's going wrong? And he's like, he goes on, she's just lying on her back. And then he's like, what's you okay? And he's like,
she wet herself.
yeah, she's wet the bed. Which, again, I would quite happily put down to trauma.
Yeah.
That's like, she's, something has happened and she's not exactly comfortable in the head. So, yeah, I'm still happy to call this trauma. That's fine. And he's like, let's get you cleaned up. And he goes and he takes her to the bathroom and starts running her a bath. This is a question slightly off topic.
Right.
I get, this is probably very difficult to answer, I imagine. But, if, he leaves her in there and closes the door.
Yep.
She's clearly struggling with some stuff. I know that she's supposed to be like a 13-year-old girl. And, dads and girls, but she's not okay.
No.
So I would be very much inclined to stay there and help her.
I would have ran. He turned the tap.
He turned the tap
but
on, and
he should have stayed and ran the bath at least.
Yeah, I made sure that she got into it okay and everything.
Yeah.
Because she's struggling. My thought would be, well, what if she hurts herself while she's in there?
Yeah.
This was just a thing that I was thinking watching this film. I was like, if that was me and my daughter, it's not a normal situation. Like, in a normal situation, I'm not going to stand there and watch my 13-year-old daughter take a bath or a shower. That's just weird. No. But she's clearly not okay, and she's struggling. Exactly. It's like if like your daughter broke their leg, you know, you wouldn't be like, right, well, good luck with that. See you later. You'd be like, no, I'll help you, and I'll take the
uncomfortable, but you have to do for your daughter.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you tell me if you want me to leave at any time.
Please leave.
Okay. But you know, I found that weird that he was just like, okay, well, she's clearly like not all right, and he's just like, okay, well, have a good bath, and then just shuts the door, and I'm just like, he hasn't even run the bath yet. He's just like, right, we'll just get in when you're ready, turn the taps off, and bye. And shuts. I found that really weird.
Yeah, considering she's not all there.
Yeah,
clearly, like, a bit strange.
So he goes back into her bedroom to start stripping off the bed sheets and everything that. Yeah. And he hears the door to the bathroom open, and he's like, "Oh, okay, you know, you okay, Ange?" You know, and he's like, goes back into the bathroom, and proves my point because she's been ripping off her freaking toe and fingernails.
Rank.
Oh, that was something we didn't mention. Sorry, see, memory. Back in the hospital, they had burnt feet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That's important later. Just, you know, but yeah, so she's ripping off her fingernails and her toenails. So again, proving my point. She shouldn't have been left alone in there.
Yeah.
And the water is it's black and it's full of hay or straw or grass or something. It's like
pretty disgusting.
Yeah, it looks like bog water basically, or water that's been in an animal trough or something like that. It's pretty bad. And then he hears movement behind him, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he goes back into the room to look to see if she's in there again. And he's like, you know, looking around and everything like that. And then this bit genuinely made me jump when she ran up behind him from fucking nowhere tries to smother him with the scarf.
Yeah.
So, you know, the scarf that was taken off of her earlier. Again, it's an important plot point, but yeah, that genuinely scared me. And then what does he do from there? I can't remember. Does she bang her head, or
I can't remember. Does he take it to the?
He takes her back to hospital, doesn't he? Yeah.
Then she gets put in the mental institute.
That's later on.
Oh, right. Okay.
She's still in the hospital at this point. Because she's really losing her shit, isn't she? She's like she thrashing and angered, and they have to sedate her and strap her to the bed and everything like that, don't they? So.
And then the scene happens with the neighbour.
The neighbour, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk us through that? You brought it up. You want to talk us through
that? If that's the next thing you want to talk about,
pretty sure that comes next, isn't it? What No. Wait. Yeah. Because he goes. Yeah, the other girl is back in hospital as well, isn't she? Because he goes downstairs and he talks to the parents of the other girl.
So we're never going to talk about the scene in the hospital with the neighbour or the church scene.
That comes afterwards.
Does it come after this?
So the neighbour bit comes after this conversation,
right?
So because they're talking, and like because the mum and dad are very religious. No, the dad thinks it's like hormones and puberty and stuff like that, and like, you know, trauma. Like I would assume. And then the mum's like, no, it's, you know, like it's the devil, and everyone's like, what? And he's like, yeah, you know when Jesus died and he came back 3 days later. Do you know where he was for those 3 days? Hell. He was in hell for those 3 days. And then 3 days later he came back. Yeah. Our daughters disappeared. And then 3 days later they appeared.
Yeah, interesting.
And I would turn around and go, coincidence. Like, what's that got to do with anything? I mean, I'm sure lots of people have disappeared for 3 days. It doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, true. I guess so.
No, but anyway, yeah.
Probably put it forward into your mind, though.
But he doesn't accept it straight away, which I'm happy about. You know, I'm glad. He's like, you know, so you think our daughters went to hell, and that's what's going on. Okay, see you later, bye. And I'm like, good reaction, glad. I thought he was going to buy it straight then. But
he's completely dismissive, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's dismissive there, and I was happy about that. But wait, my happiness is about to abate. Tom, now you can talk us through the scene in the hospital.
Right, okay, so is she strapped to the bed at this point?
She's still strapped to the bed, yeah.
And the nurse is like taking care of her.
Yeah, just general nurse stuff, isn't she? Yeah.
And then she starts babbling on about stuff in tongues, doesn't she?
No, was it Sister Margaret Ann or something like that?
So talk about, starts reading off a load of names, like in the evil tone that you would hear from people who have been possessed. Yeah. Obviously, those names mean not much to you at the moment. I thought she's just like being blasphemous and whatever else. Until we find out later on that those names do mean a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then she starts bleeding.
Well, she says something specific. It's the name. And she says, carved herself out like an old pumpkin, an old rotten pumpkin. And then she starts bleeding.
Ah, right.
From gotcha. from the genitals.
From the nether regions.
Yeah, and it's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
It's a lot of blood. And obviously the nurse freaks out about this. I mean, I would freak out just in general if I saw
most
this.
People would.
Like, that's a lot of fucking blood. Oh my God, she's dying. But yeah, no, she freaks out because of something very specific. And that's when we cut back to Doris, who's getting home. And that's when the neighbour comes over and says, that's when you find out the importance of it.
The importance of what she was talking about, yeah.
And the neighbour says, you asked me in the hospital if I've ever seen anything like this. And, I haven't, but I know people who have. And then she gives him a book. And it's a religious book, obviously. Yeah. And he's just like, you fucking religious people, you're all the same. And he's like, something bad happens, it's the devil, something good happens, it's the gods, like, it's, I watched my wife die, and now I got to put my daughter into the insane asylum, it's like, fucking, because she's like, that was a miracle, you were given a gift by God, she's a miracle.
Cool. Well, I've got to check my
miracle into the insane asylum,
yeah.
But she's like, so she explains the meaning of this, she's like, something more is happening here, because before I became a nurse, I always wanted to become a nun. My whole life I wanted to become a nun. And right before I took my vows,
she decided she didn't want none.
And she says that she didn't take up the vow because she broke her agreement with God because she got pregnant, and she had an abortion.
Yep.
So she decided there and then, I can't be a nun, obviously, because I broke my word to God and I've committed sins and blah, 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 blah. And she says, but do you know that before someone becomes a sister, they choose a new name? They have, it's like a symbolic, it's like christening, like you were one person, now you're someone else kind of thing. And she says, my name was,
Sister Mary.
Sister Mary Ann Boleyn. I don't know I can't remember the name now, but she's like, and that was going to be my name, but I never told anyone. Nobody knew except me, and I've never spoken that word since until your daughter said that name to me this evening.
Yeah.
And then that is all it takes for him to go, you know what? This could be legit. And that is where I was like, oh, really?
Right, so you didn't think at any point, she's lying?
Well, would you? I mean, people
maybe.
make shit up.
Yeah.
It's not like people don't lie.
Yeah, true. Yeah, she could have lied about it, but, I don't know.
I mean, you weren't there. There's no evidence.
I definitely wasn't there.
Yeah, but so if you have a daughter and I think she's possessed and I come up to you and say, yeah, she was definitely floating 6 feet off of her bed, you're just going to instantly believe me, are you?
Yeah, because I've seen Exorcist films.
Oh, okay, good point, yeah. Yeah, I just found that like a little bit, maybe it was like because it happened so close to that other woman telling him the same thing. Maybe that's why something clicked in his head. I don't know, but to me it's like, people lie. People make up stuff. People want to become the centre of attention sometimes, and they'll say anything about it, People don't always tell the truth. People have the ability to bullshit you. people also have the ability to, as we've already discussed, be misled by things. I mean, this girl could have legit bled from her genitals, and she filled in all the other details herself because she thought that's not right and that's weird, and clearly this is what happened. I remember she said to me, clearly she said my nun name to me. You know, it's like, did she? Or was she like, please help me get someone, I'm really not feeling very well. You know, like, yeah. Anyway, personally, I just think he switched on a dime too quickly. Okay. However, saying that, the fact that the film's called Believer, it's kind of like, that's a big theme that runs through. So, getting towards the end of the film, he doesn't actually believe yet. He just kind of does, but also doesn't. It's weird. So he doesn't believe, because there is a line later on at the end that suggests that he doesn't believe. And he's like, damn, you're right. Despite all the shit happening. But anyway, he doesn't believe, but he believes enough to go online and start researching this woman's book, and like finding out about all of this exorcism shit and everything like that. So he doesn't believe, but he believes enough to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's looking for any avenue to get his daughter back to normal.
I guess, but that's a big fucking leap. You know, I mean, it turns out that he was religious once upon a time, but then obviously when his wife died, he kind of lost his faith. That's what you're led to believe. That, you know, that's the moment that he thought, you know, fuck you, God. But yeah, anyway, so he decides that he's going to contact the author of this book because he reads a line in the book that says she carved into herself the words "help me," and it turns out that the scratches on the inside of his daughter's leg said the exact same thing, "help me." So he decides,
I see, right, okay,
that's what's gonna, you know, I need to do that. Again, I would still put that down to trauma. You know, she's self-mutilating, so it's not that weird that she would scratch herself and also maybe subconsciously write, "help me," because I'm really struggling. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's, not necessarily a possessed thing, I guess.
So as the dad, do you believe at this point?
Not the dad.
Yeah, but as the dad, do you believe at this point? Because it's easy to believe as the neighbour. Yeah, of course. It's easy to believe now because she said something that no one else should ever possibly know. But still,
it's a hard one to answer, really. To be honest.
Are you contacting Linda Blair's mom? That's who wrote the book.
I mean, I wouldn't because I don't live in that universe.
No. But she's just an actress.
Exactly.
What the fuck can I do?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, as I said, if it's your daughter, you've got to try and do anything to make things right?
I guess, but I don't know. Still a big leap for me. I'm still quite happily saying that this is all trauma. But the author of the book is the mother from the original Exorcist film. She wrote a book about all of her experiences, and then she went on a journey to find out like the history of exorcisms in different cultures, different religions, all around the world throughout all of time. And she's become an expert on exorcisms and exorcism protocols and things like that.
Yeah.
She's not an exorcist, she's an exorcism expert. There's a difference.
Absolutely.
And basically the dad says, all right, we're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to do this. So he tells the neighbor to contact a priest. So she goes and sees, I'm assuming, her local priest or something like that. I don't know, maybe. And he goes off to go and find Linda Blair's mum. Real mum, not the actress. Yeah. And,
I can't remember the first name. Reagan's the surname, isn't it?
Regan's her daughter's name, isn't
Reagan's
it?
the daughter's name, right.
Yeah, but I can't remember the mum's name in the film.
I was like, why talk about ex-American President Ronald Reagan in this film a lot? I don't understand.
He goes off to find her and ask her about it. And he meets her just randomly at her house. She's okay with this.
Mm-hmm. No.
But so I'm pretty sure if I turned up at J.K. Rowling's house, just say, I need to talk about wizards. You know, she wouldn't be okay with that.
No, imagine knowing the person that she is, then probably not.
But anyway, yeah. So they have a discussion, and she talks about Linda Blair.
She talks about her daughter. Right?
She talks about Ronald Reagan.
One of the most interesting scenes in the film.
Basically, it turns out that
they don't see each other.
They had a falling out.
They had a falling out.
Ronald Reagan didn't like that she wrote this book, and
again, understandable, I guess. We fell out, but I'd love to see her again. It'd be nice to see her again. Yeah, I haven't seen her in so long, but I'd really like to see her again. Piling it up.
One more time at least.
I wonder if she's going to turn up later or not. I haven't seen her for so long. I really wish I'd like to see her again.
Yeah, very important to see.
Very important plot point there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they lay it on very thick here, and it's very obvious that she's going to fucking turn up later on.
I mean, she's in the credits, so, you know.
Yeah. She's clearly the main star of this film.
Top billing.
Mad.
So, they go off to see Postacoglu. And he is hiding under the bed. Trying to, work out his tactics for the next match. And,
for a pint of Foster's.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And a barber.
Bonza! Bloody Struth, Sheila. But, yeah, it's freaking out under the bed because Ronald Reagan's mum basically says she knows who I am. She recognizes me.
She knows who I am. Where's the other girl?
And then we get the biggest jump scare of the film for me. Gave me a cramp. We went to see this in the 4DX.
We did indeed.
And I had my legs crossed at the time, and the chair moved so much it felt like I got punched in the back that I tensed, and because I had my leg crossed, I got a cramp from it. So yeah, that was fun. And then we leave and we go and see the other kid. And
Caroline.
Do you actually know that, or we just make up C word?
Yeah, begins with C, doesn't it?
So yeah, they go and they go to her house, and shit's not going well. Dad's freaking out outside,
Well, we missed out the church scene here, mate. What are you talking about?
Have we?
Yeah. That comes before the house.
What's the church scene?
The church scene is when they're in the church.
Mm-hmm.
The little girl is sitting next to her.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, that came ages ago, didn't it?
Yeah. So, but it kind of links into the scene you're talking about. In a
yeah,
minute, so
sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
I missed that whole fucking scene. Go ahead.
So, they're talking. They're at the church. This is a Sunday morning, I imagine, like the usual weekly mass or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what she's like. She's like, is she staring into space, or she's not really paying attention?
Fidgeting
with her feet or something,
and playing with the card in front of her and stuff. Isn't she?
She's got she's got a brother and a sister.
Yeah,
she's sitting next to.
Yeah.
And then you get a little bit of implied rustling
of a crisp packet
of her dress. Now,
I'm assuming that this is an.
Was this a nod to the original?
Very poor nod to the original. Isn't
yeah,
it?
that's what I was kind of like. Did I see what I think I saw?
Yeah, it's very tame.
It's very tame. Yeah, it's literally she's just rubbing her dress.
You could easily say no. She's just scratching her leg.
Yeah, and her brother and her sister look at her like, "What are you doing?" So I'm kind of meant to. I guess it's meant to imply that she's masturbating.
Yeah, it's an obvious nod to the original, isn't it? But it's nowhere near as.
Yeah, I kind of like. Did I think I saw? I thought I saw there. I don't
know.
It's
a blink and you'll miss it kind of.
Yeah, sort of thing. And then she goes missing for a bit.
She just wanders off, basically. Yeah, while the parents are getting communion up at the front, she just basically wanders off. And then the mum comes back and she's like, where is she? And the brother and sister are like, she left. And I was like, hang on a minute. This girl went missing recently.
Yeah.
For 3 days. And you're just like, yeah, oh, she just left.
That's exactly what
Like,
I thought.
I
I was
thought-
like, why are you not watching this girl like a horse?
Yeah, like you would be like, you're staying next to me everywhere we go for the next month.
She's happened to wander off. Oh, never mind.
And the brother and sister don't even try to stop her. I mean, I'm guessing you're supposed to think, you know, kids can also sense that there's something wrong as well. And, you know, kids and animals can see things that adults can't see. And they're like, I don't want to go near her because she scares me. Which I kind of get, but also, like, she just went missing recently. And you're just like, you know, wouldn't you be like, Mum, Dad, Mum, Dad, Mum, Dad, Mum? You know, like, she's going. You know, I mean, communion or not.
It does make you wonder about the line that Doris said earlier about him being connected to her daughter more.
Yeah.
Like, if that is a precursor for this.
Maybe.
This scene and what happens later on.
Yeah.
In the finale.
Potentially, maybe. But, yeah, I found that so weird that they're just like, you know, and the mum's kind of like really calm as well. The dad's like, oh, go find her. And the mum's just like, where did she go? You know, rather than hold fucking everything. The kid that went missing for 3 days has just disappeared again. Please, everybody stop.
Let's just sit down and continue maths and
just
everything will be fine.
It's all good, you know. It just, I was just like, weird, right? Like, you would freak out, right?
But to be fair, it's fine because she does turn up.
Oh, she didn't leave the church. Yeah, it's fine. She's okay. Yeah.
But she does come back into the church.
Yeah,
yes.
she comes back in, walking up the aisle, covered in
blood.
Wine. It's wine.
Was it wine? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was blood.
No, it's the communion wine.
Ah.
Basically, she's trashed the communion wine and the communion wafers. That's what she's done. And she's covered in the wine and she's walking up the
aisle.
Yeah.
Where's Catherine?
She left.
For God, your blood was spilled and has flowed through the ages of time. For we know that, Father, because of that blood, we were saved one day and claimed heaven as our home.
The body and the blood. The body and the blood.
Catherine.
So we praise you tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
The body and the blood. The body and the blood.
Catherine.
The body and the blood.
Catherine.
The body and the blood. The body and the blood. The body and the blood. The body and the blood.
Enough!
The body and the blood.
Stop it!
Walking towards the pastor.
Yeah.
Guessing it's pastor, right? Because he's like a different type of religion. But yeah, and he's still preaching and doing his thing, and he's like, we're looking at her, and she's like, was it the blood in the flesh, 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 the blood in the flesh.
Yeah, she's shouting that over and over again. Yeah,
and he just carries on. Good on him. He just keeps barreling through that psalm. You know,
and
good for him.
Yeah, and then we get more evidence that these parents maybe are not as close to their daughter as we think they are, because they just take her home. Yep.
So is this the point where you were like, she needs some psychological help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still not thinking possession at this point, though?
Oh, absolutely, with this girl, yeah.
You're thinking possession right now, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm still thinking trauma, but, you know, like, I guess I have a higher threshold.
Yeah, I mean, considering all the horror tropes we know, and you're not willing to accept this.
I'm the guy that's going to go upstairs and look, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, what was that noise? It's fine, I'm going to take a shower.
So when I found out at this point that they took her back to the house, and they didn't take her to a mental asylum.
Sort of psychological help.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Why have they taken her home? Like,
So what I got from that was that this is a respected family in the community. Right. And they don't want to bring undue attention onto, like, have you heard about the Joneses' daughter? She's acting a bit weird.
Right, so they don't want to bring any more attention than they've already received.
I think that's what it is. From the looks of it, it seems to me like that they're like, you know, because even when she was fidgeting and clearly uncomfortable and not okay, you know, he's just like, stop fidgeting.
Yeah. But we've gone beyond the part of them putting attention on themselves, because they Everyone knows who they are.
Yeah,
they went missing for 3 days.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of acceptable. That's an okay. Like, she went missing, but God saw fit to bring her back, and now, you know, she's like our little celebrity because she's a miracle. Oh, yeah, God favours our family. But then when she starts acting weird, it's like, you know, you're embarrassing me. Stop
right,
it.
I kind of think that somebody needs to step in here and tell them, right, you need to take it to a
hospital at least.
Hospital or mental asylum, anything that's
somewhere that can give her some psychological...
we're just going to take her home and clean her up.
Cut back to the house. Yeah, they've brought the daughter home. Sorry. Thank you for filling in that scene. I apologise.
That's all right.
Can't believe I completely forgot that scene. Yeah. Do you know what I thought? Because there is another scene in a church in a minute that I thought you were talking about, but I was like, no, that comes after this. So they go to this other girl's house because Ronald Reagan's mum says, where's the other girl? And he says, Doris says, oh, they're keeping her at home, and she's like, that's not a good idea.
Nope.
So let's GTFO and get over there. And they get over there, and the dad's kind of sitting outside on the steps on the porch, kind of just like, shit.
Traumatized.
Yeah. And they walk into the house, and the mum and the other daughter and the son are in the kitchen praying and, like, you know, on the knees praying and, like, freaking out. And it's like, okay, something's going on here. And they start wandering around the house trying to find Carly. And Ronald Reagan's mum goes to the bottom of the stairs and sees like a vision or something, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I need to go up here. You know, so she goes up.
But she baits her upstairs.
Yeah. She goes into the... Oh, no, she runs across, doesn't she?
Yeah,
she runs across the hall. That's it. Yeah, the trope of like, running across, you know. Yeah. So she goes up the stairs into the room. And Catherine is sitting on the edge of her bed, like on her knees, like frantic, basically, like bouncing. Clearly possessed.
Tick, 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 tock.
I still think it's trauma at this point. But yeah, and then she walks into the room and she's like, you know, we've met before, haven't we? You know, and then the demon starts tormenting her about Ronald Reagan, saying he was a lousy president, and she's like, shut up, damn you!
I can't remember what she was saying.
She's basically saying, you want to know where your daughter is, don't you?
Right,
we can tell you where she is.
Doesn't she tell her she's dead or something?
So she says, we can tell you where she is, and then she's like, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. And then that's where she's like, you know where she is, right? She's in hell, like that, and then screams like at her, like she's in hell, basically. And then she's like, you know, fuck you, bitch, or something. I can't remember the exact lines, but yeah, basically, it all freaks. I think she starts saying like something religious again, you know, like the power of Christ compels you, kind of thing. And she's like cowering in the corner, isn't she? And then
it kind of seems to be having an effect.
Yeah,
at a point,
crucifix falls off the wall. Basically,
that it looks like her.
Her words are doing.
Her words
something.
are affecting this possession.
Yeah,
it appears at this moment anyway.
And then I don't remember if there's like a distraction, like a lightning strike or something like that, or the house shakes or something. I can't remember. But the little girl gets up, grabs the crucifix, and just starts stabbing Ronald Reagan's mum in the eyes.
Yep.
Just like going to fucking town on her eyes. Why did she go for the eyes, Tom? Why do you think she went for the eyes?
Because of what she said earlier, but we were not going to mention that yet. Because we don't want spoilers.
Keep that in your head. Yeah. So she stabs her in the eyes, and Doris runs into the room in time to find the fucking... She's massacring her face, basically.
And gets her out.
Gets her out of the room.
Takes her to the hospital.
Yeah, it calls an ambulance and everything like that. And at this point right here, I am fairly certain that this girl has committed grievous harm on someone.
Yeah.
she is going somewhere now. They can't keep her at home anymore. She's going to a mental institution.
Yeah.
At the very least, she is going. She's going
she go
to be
anywhere at
taken
this
away.
point?
No.
Strange.
Or even if she did, off camera, they didn't tell us, but even if she did get put into a mental asylum off camera, they take her out again, which I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be allowed to do. Because she is now committed terrible assault on this person.
Yeah, I mean, they could keep it quiet, but they take her to the hospital to get her eyes sorted out. And why is this woman coming into hospital with both her eyes?
Well, as soon as they call
up?
an ambulance saying, "Oh my, there's been
Well,
a horrible accident. Her eyes have been stabbed out."
She just they don't call for an ambulance, do they? They go take her straight there to the hospital.
No,
right?
she goes in an ambulance.
Does she go in an ambulance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um,
Doesn't make any sense either. You had your eyes stabbed out. Let's call an ambulance. Should we just drive her to the hospital? No.
But yeah, so the police are definitely getting involved at this point, and this girl is being taken away somewhere.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like if they if they deem that she's all right, she's being arrested. But I'm pretty sure they'll find from like her behaviour and stuff like that she's not okay. So she's being taken to a mental health facility at the very least, and not in a way that's like, well, no, we don't want her here. We want to take her home. And it's like, right, well, it's kind of not up to you. She's not here by choice. She's here under like arrest, basically. So,
yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah. But apparently none of this happened. Then that's when we cut to the other the other church scene with the other priest in front of the other priest saying, "We need to do an exorcism. We need to get the blessing because I've laid my hands upon them and I can feel there is evil and there's great pain within these girls and stuff like that." Does he go and visit her in the hospital before?
Doris goes to the hospital and visits Ellen Burstyn, doesn't he? And he apologises for dragging her into
this.
That's
it, yeah. And then that's when she's like, I've studied exorcisms all around the world, all throughout time, everywhere. You all right?
It's the other scene that made me laugh.
Oh, right.
She goes into this religious spiel about I've visited all these religions and all these possessions, whatever else.
And the one thing that's important,
and the one thing that connects them all is people.
Yep, that's right.
No fucking shit.
But yeah, so she's basically saying, we need to get the old gang back together. That's what she's saying basically. If we're gonna pull off this heist, we're gonna need the boys. And then we get an Ocean's 11 recruitment montage.
Do we?
Yeah, Doris goes up to neighbour girl and he's like, with the lollipop, and he pulls it out and he's like, "You in?" And she goes, "Damn, fucking rat."
I remember Brad Pitt and
George Clooney was in. Yeah, mate. Oh, you must have fallen asleep. You probably weren't looking at this point because you were scared,
Okay.
But yeah, no, there's a whole Ocean's 11 recruitment bit, with the cool jazzy music in the background, and Doris pulls down his shades and looks at someone, and someone looks at him and goes,
"It's time." Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So basically, he's just trying to get everyone, together. He asks Jim Neighbour again, the one that broke into his house. He's like, "Hey, that woman you broke into my house with? What's her name again? Can you get hold of her?" So he gets her to come and help. And then she's like, cut back to his house, and she's setting up like a salt ring. And she's like saying, explaining it all, like, this is where we are, and this is the land of our ancestors, the land of the dead, the land of the unknown, and we need to invite them in, basically, And then they start prepping the house, like drilling the chairs into the floor and bolting them down and stuff like that, and gets medical equipment set up, and the thing that they inject you with to make you sleep, sedative, that's the word. Sedatives and things like that.
And then the police come in and take the girls away, and then that's it.
It's just how it should have been. or it should have just been literally to the point of, no, you can't check them out. No, that's not how any of this works. But yeah, so then we get the gang. We get Doris, neighbour woman, voodoo woman, boxing neighbour, the other parents of the other girl, and then obviously the two girls as well. But there's supposed to be a priest who's going to perform this.
He's going to be the big star of this.
But he pulls up with some bad news.
He's a pussy.
Yeah, basically.
That's the bad news.
Well, it hasn't been sanctioned. The exorcism has not been sanctioned, which technically means in real life, in our world, IRL, supposedly that exorcism will no longer work. Because if it has not officially been sanctioned, it cannot work, apparently. That's the rules. That's why it has to be sanctioned by the church. Which is why not everyone can just do an exorcism. It's not a thing that you can just go and do. Yeah. So he pussies out. He's like, I don't want to do it. People have died doing exorcisms on both sides of it. You know that, right? And he's like, I'm scared. I don't want to do it. No, don't make me do it. So he chickens out and he tells the neighbour lady, he's like, here's the Bible. You can do it. No, you can. I believe in you. I don't want to die, but if you want to, that's fine by me. I'm all right putting your life on the line. It's fine. He's right, by the way, but we'll get to that in a minute. So she decides that she's going to do it because they're all arguing on the porch of the house, saying, well, if he's not going to do it, then who's going to do it? They have another pastor there. They have the pastor from
the church
from earlier. He can do it, right?
Yeah.
Why can't he do it?
He kind of does, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, they all kind of do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
They'll chip in and do their
basically, this whole film makes it seem like anyone can do an exorcism. You, me, us, we could just go do an exorcism. It's fine. Just go chant some religious shit. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. It's easy. Doesn't even have to be Christian religion. It can be anything. They got a voodoo woman to do it.
Why not?
Yeah. Like, I'm a pastafarian, so if I just throw spaghetti at them, it's fine. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know why he couldn't do it anyway, but they're all freaking out, like, oh, we can't do this now, how are we going to do this? And then neighbour lady walks up and is like, I believe that this is why I'm here, This is why my God didn't put me in, let me become a nun. This is why I was your neighbour. This is why I'm here tonight this is my purpose in life, basically, is to do this.
Okay.
And they all go, fuck yeah. And then Team America plays. And they walk into the house and, they basically start the exorcism. Basically, they get the voodoo lady says you mustn't touch them at any point.
Yeah.
Which is, again, not true of an exorcism. The whole point is to have touch with them. That's the point of like the scarf, the purple scarf that they kiss and then they put on. Like they touch you with the scarf and like lay hands upon you. I mean, you've seen the original film, right? They lay hands upon you. Every exorcism you've ever seen ever has always included. I mean, you could just got to look at those.
Yeah.
Those fucking leave demon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just used as a plot point. In the film,
basically.
It's like the T-Rex can't see movement bullshit. It's
yeah.
Just add an extra layer to it.
They use later on to.
So they use,
no sense, but whatever. So they start the exorcism, and things start going. House shakes, lights flicker on and off, and guttural noises come from the girls and stuff like that. And then they start attacking the woman, the neighbour lady again, for being a whore. Basically, You're a whore. You're God's whore. Religious whore. Because she had sex and murdered your own child. You murdered your own. A very American film. I got the impression of. But yeah, basically just trying to rile her up, knock her off her game, and it works. It starts to work. It's just standard exorcism shit at this point, basically. Screams and manipulation and people chanting religious stuff and everything like that. And then they get these bowls of vinegar, I think she said it was at some point, and the voodoo lady starts sprinkling vinegar,
right? Okay,
on them, and then the Christine like vomits up like a lump of flesh or something that's in there. And then she says to Doris, take this outside to the east of the house, far away, and get rid of it. And he pours this demon water down the drain. So now we're all drinking the demon water. Thanks a lot, Doris.
Damn.
And he sees the priest praying in the car.
Yeah, he's still there.
He's praying in the car, and he walks up and all manly. Fights in there.
It's a game's in there or something.
Fights in there. Fights in there.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Bruh, bruh.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I understandable.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very TV, isn't it? It's very film.
Yeah.
Fights in there, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. And then he goes back into the house, and then they're all praying and everything like that. And then that's when I got confused, because all this demonic shit is clearly happening, because it happened with like the smoke coming out of their mouths.
Yep.
And then like she blew out the fire or something. She ignited the fire with like spitting into it like alcohol or something, didn't she? And then that clashed with the other smoke, and that drew out the evil smoke. And like he's seen all of this religious stuff. He's believed enough to get like an exorcism party thrown, basically.
Woo!
And then Postacoglu says to him, "You don't believe, do you?" And he's like, "Oh shit, she's right. Fuck, she got me right in the hurts."
Knew this already, though.
And it was like also like, how do you not believe at this point? Like, you've believed enough to get this whole thing together.
Yeah.
Like, I know you said like, oh, you'd do anything for your daughter.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe in demonic possession, you're not going to arrange an exorcism party.
True. Yeah.
I mean, you must believe on some level that there might be a chance that this has happened. And I've seen all this weird magic shit.
Yeah, it's a tipping point.
Oh, and also, by the way, at one point, they throw their heads back. Oh, and I also just saw a scar appear on one of the girls' heads, just from fucking nowhere. But no, I don't believe. Nah. And all it took was my demonic daughter looking me in the eye and going, "You don't believe." And I'm like, oh, my whole world is rocked. And everything's fucked up. And it's like all at the lowest ever. And that's why I was like, well, does he believe or doesn't he believe? Because you can't believe enough to put all this together, but not believe enough to believe that it's actually happening. It doesn't make any sense.
I think he's putting on a facade, isn't he, at this point?
Again,
saying that he doesn't believe.
Would make way more sense if he wasn't the one throwing the party.
Right.
If he was like, if the other people threw it, and he's like, look, I don't even know why we're here. I got a bobsled team to run. I don't even know why that would make more sense. But he's the one that's got everyone together. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid.
Right.
But anyway, even after seeing all this, apparently he still doesn't believe. And then, the demon in Postacoglu starts, saying about all his dead wife and everything like that. And then that's when we find out.
Hold on. Is that before the priest or after?
I'm sure it's before the priest.
Before the priest.
Yeah. It's before the priest. It's before the priest, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Like, says, like, because that's when she's like, you don't believe because, you never even wanted me anyway, did you?
Yeah, that's the first, like, little twist. Yeah.
Turns out he chose to save his wife.
But he's obviously made that decision, and they told him at the hospital that that's not the right. They need to save the baby.
Or they tried to save her, and she died anyway, and they ended up just saving the baby anyway. Like, but then anyway, basically she's like, you never wanted me, I shouldn't, you didn't choose me. And then that's when they say, you need to choose now. Tonight, one girl lives, one girl dies. And you need
putting
to
that back into as well, the whole choice aspect of the beginning of the movie,
The Sophie's Choice, basically.
Which I thought was a red herring, considering this is coming from two demonic possessed people.
Yeah, my initial thought was
bullshit.
Why are you believing anything these people say?
That was my...
And my initial thought was, I'm not going to choose shit. from you.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you that power.
That's what I thought. It was bullshit.
But yeah, I mean, it clearly was set up as a red herring, but my initial thought, even when they said it, was that mine was like, well, fuck you. I'm not choosing. I'm having both.
Yeah, and that's what they do initially. They say we're not choosing.
Yeah, we're not choosing, basically, yeah. But there's this whole moment of tension where Doris and, what's the C name I haven't used yet?
Christy.
I didn't want to use that.
Crystal,
yeah, there you go. Doris and Crystal were looking at each other across the girls' heads, and there's this moment of tension between them, and you're just like, both of them want to choose their daughter, but they also, seem like they're intelligent, and they're like, this isn't what you think it is, but you get the moment of tension. By the way, the dad is a bitch in this film. He is a bitch.
Okay, explain.
Because he's just a pussy.
More of a pussy than the priest.
Because he bails all the time. Like, he bailed. He was sitting out on the front garden when his family was in the house praying. He was then on the porch. He was like, well, we can't do this. We can't do this without a priest. We can't do this without a priest. Even though he's standing right next to a pastor. My first initial would be like, well, why can't you do it?
Yeah.
But he's like, we can't do this. And then he's like, oh, if this doesn't work, like before, he's talking to his wife. He's like, if this doesn't work and they make her worse, what are we going to do then?
Because he doesn't believe.
Yeah. Even though apparently he's super religious. And then the first sign when it starts going wrong and they start calling her a whore and things start going wrong, he bails then because he's sitting out on the front garden again, and then when it goes tough again next time, he runs out and hides in the kitchen. He's a little bitch in this film.
I didn't really notice that as much as you did.
Annoying character.
The priest came off as the biggest bitch here.
No, the priest came in like a fucking glorious fucking, knight in shining armour, here comes the cavalry, last stand at the Alamo kind of guy.
Eventually.
But you can't have that if you don't have the pussy initially. The dad never nuts up. That's the point.
But he does.
But everyone has a moment in this film where they're tested and they start to fall, and every single one of them passes it, apart from the dad. And you cannot tell me he does, because he's the reason the ending happens.
Well, he is, but
we'll get there.
He stays strong at the end.
No, he fucking.
Well, he does. He stays.
No, he doesn't. He is a bitch. He has no nut up moment. He has no redemption whatsoever.
He does.
When?
I will tell you when we get to the end.
Okay, fine.
Priest.
Can
we talk about the priest?
Yes. So shit's still going wrong, and they can't get it, and everything's like they're like, oh, we can't do this, something's it's gonna break, we can't, nothing's working, and then the priest comes in like a fucking big dick energy, and he starts chanting prayers and chants,
trying to make up for being a bitch.
Doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter if you're scared initially. That's okay. That's all right. As long as you nut up at the end and do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, fucking too right. I don't have a problem with a hero arc like that.
Okay.
It's when no one ever has a redemption. It's okay to be scared. True bravery is overcoming that fear, which the priest did. In their darkest moment.
He gets his reward for that.
Yeah, horrible fucking reward. He comes in, like, big dick energy, and I'm like, yes, and the Avengers music starts playing, because fucking, on your left, fucking Bucky's just showed up, and, like, all the portals open, and he's swinging through, and they're like, Captain America picks up the fucking hammer.
I don't remember any of this,
mate. Yeah, it happens, mate. It was the we were in the cinema. Everyone's like that when the priest walks in. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, goosebumps. Priest walks in, starts chanting.
Yeah.
The psalms and the prayers and
shit,
with the cross and the crucifix and everything like that. And starts, speaking with some bass in his voice, and he's like, and then he lays hands upon them.
He makes the fatal area.
Apparently, you're not supposed to touch them.
They're not supposed to touch them,
even though that is exactly what you're supposed to do in a exorcism.
But this is not real. This is a movie.
Yeah, but even in the original exorcism, they laid hands on Ronald Reagan because that's what you're supposed to do in an exorcism. Like, he does it properly with the scarf and everything. He puts it on their heads and he's, like, praying over them and everything like that. And it seems to be working. The demons are getting, like, really hurt. And it's, like, writhing and twisting and like, house is shaking, like, flashing on and off. Everything. It's all going perfectly to plan. And then all of a sudden, like, everyone else is chanting as well, by the way, that everyone is in on this. Everyone is in on this.
Everyone's putting an effort.
Yeah, apart from the dad. No, wait, no. Yeah, he's still there at this point. It's this point now that he loses faith again. And, like, the demons start, like, twisting their necks.
Yep.
And then he's
a la the first movie.
And then he's like...
yeah,
They basically control him now.
And they start
turning their necks.
Yeah.
And then his neck starts turning. And then all of a sudden you just see his spine go outside of his neck. It's very brutal,
very
isn't
gruesome.
it?
But it's something I've wanted at this point in the movie. Something a little bit gruesome.
I don't think I wanted that.
Okay.
I don't know, because to me it's like...
You wanted the priest to come in and save everybody, didn't you?
Not necessarily that, because, I mean, the priest in the first one ends up dying as well.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with the priest dying. It just felt like it was... hollow?
Harsh?
Yeah.
Like, you bought this guy has his, obviously his doubt. He's sticking by the rules, obviously, because the church on him, he can't do this, but obviously there's a little bit of fear going on there. And he comes in, does, his redemption arc, and it's immediately snuffed out.
Yeah. And bang, straight away, done. So don't be a hero, you fucking idiot. You should have just stayed in the car, Yeah. And he's right,
That's the moral of the story, stay in the car.
Stay in the car, boys and girls. Don't be a hero, That's when the dad runs out of the room and, like, starts freaking out, and then everyone's like lost.
Understandable.
They don't know what to do. And is that when Doris runs to go get the scarf again?
Might be, yeah.
And he goes and he puts it around.
He puts her on her.
And they're like, don't touch her. And he's like, come back to me. I'm sorry I took this off of you. I'm sorry I didn't let you, come back.
My immediate reaction to this is like, this is going to be complete bullshit if this is the reason that the exorcism is successful.
Yeah.
That he just put a scarf on her and everything was fine.
I think that you're supposed to believe that, like, the scarf was like...
And initially it looks like it might be the start at the end.
I think what you're supposed to believe is, like, the mother is in the scarf.
Yeah.
And the mother is, like, the guardian angel that's going to fight the demon, and help her daughter, basically. But then he starts it starts working, it starts... helping and like she's like coming back around, but
again it's a red herring.
It's a red herring, yeah, because he's like, come back to me, and she's like, Dad, and everything. He's like, yeah, honey, and he's like hugging her and everything like that, and then another C name, Christopher, because I'm running out of girls' names.
Chloe.
I don't fucking hell, you're good at this. Chloe, and then Chloe says, what about me, Mom?
I don't want to go to hell.
And then, like, that's when they both start freaking out again. Is it? Or she freaks out, doesn't she? She starts like that, and Postacoglu's okay at this point still, right? She's the heartbeat's coming back round. And then when Chloe starts going, that's when the dad shouts from the other room, I choose you, Chloe.
Yep.
Chloe, I choose you, and then throws the Pokeball, basically.
Yep. And this is the part of the movie where the dad stayed strong. Because he didn't say her name.
Did he not?
He did not say Ange.
Oh, that dad. That's not the dad I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Doris.
Oh, you're talking about the other
I'm talking about White Dad.
Oh, he's a
bitch.
I thought you were talking about Doris.
No, Doris is okay. He's just confusing because he believes, he doesn't believe, he doesn't believe, he believes. He's confusing.
But the other
you're talking about
the
white dude.
Right,
White dude is a bitch.
Okay.
You agree?
Completely crosswires there.
You agree that white dude's a bitch, though, yeah?
Yeah, the whole family's bitchy, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay,
but
cool.
the dad is, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we agree on that. Yeah, no, Dad's the one that fucks it all up because he doesn't have a hero arc and he's a little bitch the whole way.
So yeah, he shouts his girl's name, believing that he's going to save her.
Yeah. But and then wait, before that, all hell goes loose, you know, that Ange starts to levitate into the light, you know, and Charlotte starts to try and come out of her chair, but she's obviously all strapped in and everything still, and she's trying to, you know, levitating out of her chair and everything like that, and everything's all, you know, it's all building up and everything like that, and magic light and everything like that, and then what happens?
Shaka.
Yeah, sure.
Shaka Khan dies.
Yep. Because it was obvious. You choose which one you want to live, the other one's going to die.
Yeah,
that was obvious to me.
Yeah, but that's not what happened.
It was exactly what happened.
He chose his daughter.
Yeah.
And she died.
And she died. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not what you said.
No, what I said is you choose which one you want to live, and that one's the one that's actually going to die. The other one's going to live.
That's not what happens at all, though.
It's exactly what happens. The father chooses his daughter dies, the other one he didn't choose lives.
Right, okay, got that makes sense, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I was saying. Right from the start, I knew
that what you thought was going to happen.
I knew that was...
I took me by surprise. No.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that whichever one you chose was the one that was going to die.
Okay. Well,
you know,
I didn't.
Choose which one you want to live, and that's the one that's going to die. I knew that was the case because, you know, they're devils. Duh.
Yeah, true. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
They tricked them.
Yeah. So, and you get a really heartbreaking scene, personally, in my opinion, where the little girl kind of snaps to again inside her own head, I imagine, or something like that, in like the basement.
Yeah, it's kind of like your life flashing before your eyes, sort of.
Yeah, she kind of comes to in strapped into the chair in the basement where they got possessed in the first place. And she's like scared and she's like looking around and she's like, Mom, Dad, you know, like really terrified, wading through this water. And then the dad's voice is like, you know, repeating, I choose you, Castafane. I don't know.
You're running out of names at this point, anyway.
I choose you. And then it's getting lower and deeper and then it turns into a demonic, I choose you. And then he drags her under the water. Which then infers to me that this little girl who did nothing wrong is now living the rest of her life in hell.
It's a bit of a downer, isn't it?
She's been taken to hell, basically.
Bit of a downer ending here.
They tried to make it all really upbeat and nice and everything like that.
So, no, there's a little girl.
There's a little girl that's dead. And, like, her soul has been taken to hell. So for eternity, she will suffer now because her dad is a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, this girl has done nothing wrong.
She's done nothing wrong.
Movie. She's just an ordinary child who happens to be friends with Ange.
It's not just that. It's just even like the whole...
And it's like, well, okay.
They go off and do something stupid in the woods.
Dead.
People... I mean, we did stupid shit all the time.
I kind of thought it was going to be a fake out and that it would turn out that she actually lived. But it wasn't.
No.
She did die.
It's really horrible,
yeah.
actually. Like, this little girl who's done nothing wrong.
But it's okay because the other girl lives.
Yeah.
Because they're the one we've been watching the whole movie.
Yeah, they're the main characters.
They're the main characters. They're the important ones.
Even though I'm pretty sure it was her idea the whole time to go and try and talk to her mum. You know, come and do a seance with me because I want to talk to my mum, and then she's the one that gets to live. It's like, hang on a minute, that doesn't seem right. This other girl did nothing wrong. You just dragged her into this, and now she's
kind of a downer
dead.
Ending, really, isn't it?
It's really horrible, actually. Like, I thought that was really nasty.
But it's not quite the end yet.
Well, no, but I mean, it's the climax, isn't it? Basically, that's what it is. So yeah, the girl dies. The little girl, the C-word girl, the cunt girl,
Carol.
She dies, and Ange Postecoglou lives to manage another day. And And yeah, he stays strong. You're right. He doesn't ever say her name. Because he knows,
the devil's trying to trick him.
Yeah, and he's just holding her. No, she's just floating there, isn't she? She's levitating into the light and everything like that. And then she crumples to the earth as the other girl dies, basically. And then she comes back round, and he's like, they're reunited and everything like that. And then the police show up finally. Probably wondering, responding to the fact that this girl's been kidnapped from a fucking mental institution.
Yes.
And they see the girls have strap marks all over their wrists, and they've been bound basically. And then any normal person would think, right, well, you've killed this little girl then, because you've clearly done fucking something, and this girl's died. Basically the same thing that happens in The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And yeah, it comes to it cuts to neighbour woman, basically in the police station. I'm assuming being questioned by the police sergeant, and then we get this whole speech about how, the devil, what he really want, he want you to give up hope, but people stay together.
Yeah, more religious.
Yeah, it's not even religious. It's just life affirming.
Yeah,
shit, isn't it? Basically, it's doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Hope is the greatest thing you have. Never give up hope. And we see Ange going back to school normally, and
and looks over at the desk
where her friend
used
that
to
she
sit.
killed.
Yeah,
is sitting,
and it's empty.
Yep. But and then they end it on the hope will keep us strong.
Yeah,
hope is what we want, and it, on this sorrowful image of this poor girl that her desk is empty, and Angie's kind of looking over her. She doesn't look remorseful. She kind of looks like. I mean, there isn't actually a smile.
No,
but she does not look remorseful. She just looks like. Everything's going to be okay. Looking at this desk of this girl that died because of her. And she just doesn't look like she has any remorse at all. It looks like she's thinking, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. And then that's how it ends.
Because you've got to move on. The devil's trying to test you.
Yeah,
You've just got to move on with your life.
I mean, dude. Come on.
But the movie's not over just yet.
Is it not?
No, because we've got the end scene with Ellen Burstyn in...
Oh, yeah! Sorry. Yeah, you're right, yeah. Yeah.
How did you forget this?
Just, I don't know. I forgot 2 fucking non-important minutes of the film. Sorry, yeah. The main character, Linda Blair, top billing.
Ding,
ding, ding, ding, ding, ding, ding. She comes... Well, actually, we cut to Ronald Reagan's mum in the hospital
with her
with her eye patches on.
Yep.
She's she hears the door and she's like, Victor, is that you? See, I remember Victor. How do I remember that?
Of course, we know exactly.
We know
who's walking in here.
Yeah. It's the devil!
No. It is, of course, her daughter.
Ronald Reagan.
Linda Blair.
She comes up.
Says...
She holds her hand. She's like, no, Mum. It's me.
And she really earned that $1 million.
Yeah, that's right. Massive paycheck. I'm guessing that they're trying to set her up for the next film.
Possibly, yeah. I mean...
She's going to take her mum's mantle and be the champion of the exorcism or something like that. I don't know.
And it took her to lose her eyes for her to see her daughter again.
Yeah.
That was her destiny.
And that is the end of the film, yes. So, let's get into some stats, shall we?
Statman,
yeah. So this film was released on the 6th of October, 2023. I do not have a cost. I could not find a cost anywhere.
Okay.
Which is surprising. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find how much it cost. I mean, how much are we thinking it's probably going to cost? What, 50 mil? 20 mil?
Yeah, I'd probably say less than 50, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, so far to date, it has grossed $57.6 million worldwide.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it's a success or not, but I'm assuming that the next things would probably tell you whether it's a success or not. You can make up your mind from there. But before we get into that, Tom,
Right.
Anything that you would change about this film to make it more scary?
No, I thought it had a pretty cohesive story throughout, really. I mean, there was obviously like a little few things which make you go, why is this happening? But I like there's a lot of foreshadowing that goes on early on in the film that happens later on and all this and that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I thought it was decent for the most part.
I think they played the Chekhov's guns off well. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, everything that kind of got brought up did get wrapped up. So that's good. Nothing was brought up for no reason. So, but no.
Other than that, no.
So I would probably get rid of a lot of the CGI elements of the film.
Okay.
Because I think what made the original good was that it was all actual effects, apart from her head turning around. Obviously, that didn't happen. But, I mean, if they could have broken the priest's neck for real in real life, then I would have appreciated that, you know. No, you know, like the woo-woo-y shit, like the lights, you know, the sky beam, basically, that opens up at the end, the smoke woo-woo voodoo-y shit, you know, coming out of their mouths and, you know, like...
Okay.
Because the original didn't really have that. The original was more like you saw what was happening to her and that was the horror. Like, she was cutting herself and, you know, she was getting sicker and gaunter and grey and, you know, like...
I mean, this is probably most modern-day horror movies.
Yeah, which I don't like. I don't like... It's the same thing that we said last week about Insidious, you know? Don't show the demon. Don't show us so much. You know, leave some stuff to the imagination, you know? Like, tell the story through the people, the actors that are there, you know, like the things are getting worse. You can see that they're in pain. Cuts and bruises are starting to appear everywhere, you know, stuff like that. It doesn't need to be all this sky beam, you know, like, oh, this is God coming down to actually save her kind of thing. That doesn't need to be there.
I can't say I really noticed it that much.
Fair enough. Okay, so what would you give this film then?
Yeah, I think it's very mid-range for me. It's not a film that's going to live long in the memory. I didn't think it was a terrible film, though. So it's very middle, like the road. Like, it's not a terrible film, and if it was a terrible film, I probably would have remembered it more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to have to go somewhere like 5 or 6, maybe.
Okay.
I'll be generous and say 6.
Okay. It has a 5.1 rating on IMDb.
Okay, so halfway, yeah.
It's a new film, so it's not on our list, but a score of that, of 5.1, would put it at the 299th on the list
very
out
low
of
down.
300.
Yeah, very low down there.
So it would have just scraped onto the list. It has 22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ouch, I don't think it was that bad.
With a 58% audience score. And all of this information is correct as of the 15th of October.
Okay, wow, okay.
So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Critically, it's being slammed pretty badly.
Sounds like it.
Audiences seem to be in agreement with you. Middle of the road.
Middle of the road, yeah. I don't think it's like a disaster, like 22% disaster like that. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think this is going to be a film that people will look at in years from now and laugh. This film, remember how bad this was?
Yeah, it's not, but I don't think it's going to be very memorable
either. No, that's why I didn't rank it that low.
Yeah, it's a cookie cutter, turn your brain off and watch kind of entertainment.
I mean, it's not as, you know, as memorable as The Exorcist, the original.
Yeah.
Or as, you know...
Groundbreaking, though.
Groundbreaking's a good word, yeah.
Okay, so final question, Tom. Did The Exorcist Believer terrify you?
I mean, it had its moments, mainly like jump scares and stuff like that. There were like a few jump scares, but I knew they were coming. And I would say generally no. You know, I think we saw this movie very late at night.
Yeah.
But by the time I got home, it was like 11:30ish.
Yeah.
And usually if you see a horror movie that late at night, you're going to be thinking about that movie and traumatized by that movie, like if it scared you. But I wasn't scared or traumatized at all when I got home.
Yeah.
I just went about my usual routine.
Yep.
Yeah, and this film had no impact on me.
Came home,
whatsoever.
went to the toilet, brushed my teeth, and then had no trouble falling asleep.
Yeah. This film did not give me nightmares or make me think there might be someone in my house trying to kill her or anything like that. No, it had no effect on me whatsoever.
Nope, none at all. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Tom.
Thank you for joining me.
And thank you very much for sticking with us for this film. Hopefully this episode is out on Halloween. Hopefully it's Halloween while you're listening to this. Ooh. I'm going to try my hardest to get this out before Halloween. I only have a few days because I am away for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. Ooh. So hopefully this episode will be out in time for Halloween. Hopefully this film is still out in the cinema. Go and check it out if you want, or don't. Do whatever you want. I don't care. But thank you for listening to this show. And until next time, sleep tight.
Este video ha sido una producción de Rich Key Entertainment. Para más shows geniales como este, no te olvides de dar clic en el link que aparece aquí para visitar todos los canales de YouTube. También puedes ver este video que sugerimos para ti. Muchas gracias, no te olvides de dar like y suscribirte para más contenido como este.